Welcome to episode number 59 of About the Cards podcast, live tonight on YouTube, as always, with my hosts at Junkwax Twin, Stephen Loeffler, at our trading cards, Ben Wilson. I'm at Big Shep 79, Tim Shepler. We are a podcast by collectors for collectors, hoping to bring you smart and insightful podcasts discussing trading card collecting. We're live every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Pacific, 10 Central. You can always follow us on Twitter at About the Cards. We're available on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, Overcast, YouTube, anywhere you can find a podcast, you'll find us. Check out our website, aboutthecards.wordpress.com. We just dumped a whole bunch of checklists this week today. Guys, we've not been together for 2 weeks online. I've missed you. As you can tell, we have a new setup here, a little Brady Bunch style. We're using StreamYard because Google Hangouts has died, but I like it. I think it looks sharp. There's a lot of new features that we can see and have, and so hopefully you will enjoy it. And fellas, how have we been?
Pretty good. What about you guys?
Good. I like this new layout. What's that up in the corner above my head? I believe it's above my head on the screen, right?
Yeah. No, it's we're backwards, so it's weird to move. It's we can put a little logo or whatever up there. So we have Replin on. We have the CEO with us. G Chang, he's hanging out with us a little bit this morning.
Yeah.
What's up, G? Welcome to the show.
Today.
How's it going? Good to be here. Thanks for having me. Yeah.
So before we get into chat with G about Replin and collecting, Ryan Cracknell put out some news. 2020 Top Series 1 baseball of 25 golden tickets. Good for what looks like a Transcendent-esque event with multiple guests. What do you guys think? That's crazy, right? Series 1?
That seems crazy, like you said, if you can get in.
Yeah. And I'm probably not going to be allowed to any Topps parties going forward. And we will talk about that later in the show. Big faux pas by me and someone else who might not be mentioned. But the will. Yeah. So what's up, Nick? We hung out with Nick. Oh, man, Nick Wasik is awesome. We spent a good amount of time with him. We're going to talk about that later. But let's get to our special guest. So we have the CEO of Replin, G Chang on. G is one of the co-founders of It's Lista, right? Which is an
It's a
online marketplace used for used goods, and also one of the creators of the new Replin app. He's currently focused on helping sellers with sports card hobby community attract buyers and get paid easily and safely, along without escaping the high fees like we talked about before, building their own brand and sell faster on multiple channels to make more money. He currently lives in the Bay Area here in California, which is awesome, but he grew up in Boston. He's a diehard Celtics, Red Sox, and Patriots fan. So he's not experienced a lot of winning lately. So we got to feel bad there. His current PCs, I like this list: Jason Tatum, Robert Williams III, Rafael Devers, and Ben Attendee. So that's a nice little trio. So you don't collect. There's no football guys you're going after right now?
No, not too much. Mostly into baseball and basketball, just because those are the sports I played. Obviously, follow along with the Patriots every season. But yeah, those are the guys. Not too much winning recently on the Red Sox front, but trying to hang in there.
Yeah. All right. Well, good luck to you there. So when did you get into the hobby?
So I mean, I first got into it back in like 87, 88, 89, as a kid, just collecting Topps baseball cards. I think all the way through like the mid 90s, I was just super into collecting cards. But, to be honest, I didn't get back into it until, again, I think earlier this year. Beginning of this year is when I realized, we sell a lot of stuff on Listia and a lot of it's cards. And we've always known that, the cards that we all have in our attics from that era aren't worth too much. But it kind of opened my eyes recently when I found out, hey, there's some really cool stuff going on with the new cards. And that's really what got me back into it. I think literally as me and my brother went to pick up like this huge box of cards from someone, from the 80s and 90s, and we brought it home, and that kind of kickstarted everything. Yeah.
Nice. So what made you really want to focus on it, on people assisting like trading cards and having Replin be that source for them?
Yeah.
Just
So
back
I
in, or-
mean, yeah. So Replin, I mean, you said it well. It's basically we're helping people sell. We're helping sellers like avoid eBay essentially. And we noticed that people love selling on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. And to do that well, you kind of need to build your reputation. You basically building your own personal brand is kind of how we've been talking about it. But it's your rep, right? It's like you're trustworthy. You'll ship on time. You have good cards. And then it just kind of coincided with us getting back into the card hobby and noticing that people really need to be able to sell these things outside of eBay if they want to avoid those fees and make more. So it always kind of made sense to me to combine like what you're into with what you're trying to do, kind of in your work life or in your business, and we found a good fit there. So for the last few months, we've just been, laser focused on just the hobby. And, Replin can be used for lots of things, but people are gravitating towards it. And yeah, we love being a part of it too. So
outstanding. Yeah, I've been putting stuff out there. So where do you see the app and the service going in the next 5 years?
yeah, so our kind of mission is just to help people escape from these high fees from big marketplaces, right? So right now, the reason why eBay and others can charge you 10% on all your sales is because they own all of your data. They have your whole transaction history. They have your reputation. If you want to use your reputation, you got to keep selling on eBay. So what we're trying to make is just kind of this open platform where it doesn't matter where you sell. It could be on Craigslist, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You just kind of own your own profile. You build it up how you want, and then you can just leverage that to sell. And that's sort of why we partnered up with PayPal as well. We figure, almost everyone out there uses PayPal already anyway. So, we're not trying to build like a new payment system or anything. We're really just trying to give you a selling profile that you can use anywhere. So, if we see success, it'll look like, sellers moving off of eBay and other platforms and just kind of taking control of their own brand and personality, and just being able to sell anywhere they want without fees.
Outstanding. And so why is that selling reputation online so important, and being able to combine all those different channels all into one?
Yeah, I think because right now we don't see like eBay like marketplaces out there that don't have fees. And that's why everyone gravitates towards social networks, right? So you hop on Twitter, you hop on Instagram, suddenly you can join a community of like thousands of collectors who are all into the same thing. So once you're in that world, there's no such thing as like a selling profile. There's no such thing as like feedback for your transactions. So what we're trying to do is just build this really light layer on top of all that. So you kind of have your own new selling profile that you can use everywhere. It just so happens that, Twitter, Instagram are just really, they're for social activity, but they work really well for this kind of thing too.
Oh, definitely. And so how do you use Replin to build on top of that reputation?
Yeah. So essentially you go to replin.com, or you grab the app, and you just create a profile, right? You give it a name, you can upload your avatar, you make it yours. And if you do have prior like eBay feedback, you can connect that and import it all. So if you have like 100 feedback from the last year, you can just, take control of that, put it onto your profile. Now when you go out, you're listing cards for sale. You have a brand new like silver PSA 10 Tatum, right? You put it on Twitter. You can link to your Replin profile, and people can see how reputable you are and instantly feel comfortable transacting with you. And that's the main idea. And the loop closes after you ship out the item. The buyer gets it. Now they have the chance to leave you feedback, right? They can give you 5 stars, say, awesome transaction, and that cycle just keeps going.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, that's definitely very cool. We always ask when we ever have a guest on the show, if you could only own one card you currently own, which would it be? Which one would it be, and why? So I'm only going to let you have one card.
It's So I was fortunate enough to get I have a Giannis Prism, just a base rookie. I would like to own that because a huge fan of Giannis, but also because my brother gave that to me. It's a card that, outside my PC, I think it's the card that I want to hold on to for a while.
Yeah, that kid is very talented.
So if you had to trade all of your cards for one that you don't have, what would you trade it for?
One that I don't have. I think like the Fleer Jordan rookie is something that, I probably had a chance to have it in my childhood, but I never had it. So, if I could get that card, I think that's the card I would love to have.
Outstanding. Well, I appreciate G for hanging out with us a little bit tonight.
Yeah, definitely.
And let us know about your service. Yeah, we've been talking about the last few weeks. I've been selling, so I have my own profile on there I've been using, so it's been really great. And we're going to keep following it, and hopefully we can have you on, or even have James hop on with us. He's been a really great contact and helping us through the process.
Awesome. Yeah, James is a college buddy who started Listia and Repland together.
Yeah.
Fun times.
Outstanding. Well, we appreciate you coming on late tonight with us. We know you're probably very busy, and so we do thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me, guys. Yeah,
have a great night.
Totally.
I'll stay tuned in, but appreciate the time.
Sure, Brett. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and just remember, like I said, over the past few weeks, we've talked about this new service, Repland, and it really helps sellers build their professional or their personal brand online without the fees, and allow you to sell on a bunch of different channels all at one time, which is super cool. So, and like G said, a lot of people are using it for sports cards and collectibles. You just need to log in with your PayPal credentials. You can set up your profile. You can go through and pay, get paid through goods and services on there, and you build that reputation through different avenues. So it's really good. So you can use Twitter. The three of us live on Twitter. You can use Facebook, Craigslist. You're using eBay. You have all these avenues to do so, and it's really great. So
and during that last question, while we were talking about what card you'd like to own, I actually downloaded the app, signed up. It was that easy. It took me all of 90 seconds to link my, download the app and then link my PayPal to it. So super easy. I'm excited to get started and kind of take a look and see it. I don't do a lot of selling, but it's nice to have just to share that online reputation with.
Yeah, no, it's super cool. So, guys, we had a really heavy show tonight. We're going to get through it tonight, but so bear with us. I think Uncle Rich is going to probably have to chime out early, but it was good to meet up and shake hands in person. But the week that was last week's releases, so we're going to have like 2 weeks of this to recap here. Topps Living going back 2 weeks, week 72, card 214, Tony Gwynn, Mr. Padre, the Hall of Famer outfielder for the Padres, sold just shy of 3,800. Card 215, Oscar Mercado, rookie outfielder of the Indians, sold just a little over 2,800. Starling Marte, card 216, outfielder of the Pirates, sold 2,659. Week 73, we had this is the National Week, so you'll see the Chicago theme here. Card 217, Ernie Banks, Hall of Fame shortstop of the Cubs, 5,400. Card 218, Harold Baines, weakest Hall of Famer of all time, DH, Chicago White Sox, 2,600. And card 219, Dakota Hudson, rookie pitcher of the Cardinals, outsold Baines, 2,800 cards. So, guys, I was sad that Tony Gwynn didn't hit 4,000. Let's be honest.
No, it was surprising just because it's such a beautiful card. He had such a warm and welcoming, beautiful smile. His deep belly cackle, you couldn't not like Tony Gwynn. And I was absolutely stunned that he didn't hit. Honestly, 5. I know Ernie Banks got a huge bump because of the National being in Chicago and everything, but I would have thought Tony Gwynn would have come a lot closer to the Banks' number.
Yeah, no, and I like that Harold Baines is the lowest selling Hall of Famer by quite a bit. Biggio had that distinction before, but now it's Mr. Baines. But the card looks cool.
Hey, Timothy.
Yes, sir.
Why don't you share the screen so they can see it?
Oh, there we go. Sorry, we got there we go. The Tony Gwynn. The only thing I wish they would have done differently with the Tony Gwynn card is use the brown and orange.
Yeah. The 80s, it looked.
Well, yeah, that would have been better.
Yeah, there were a few people knocking that imagery selection because of the sunglasses. You know, if you would have got to see the logo, but a lot of that.
Some people didn't like the Tony Gwynn, as you can see in the comments here.
Well, Ken's up past his bedtime, so.
But he did hang out late with us last time we were live. Remember?
That's because he was live and he had to. Because
I like this. I can show comments on the screen. So for those of you guys listening to podcasts with our new layout here, I can actually put the YouTube comments on the screen now. This could get dangerous. So yeah, check out Topps Living Staff for full breakdown of where these cards fall respectively in the set, by team, and by position. Also, 2 weeks ago, 2019 Panini Certified Football, 2019 Panini Immaculate Collection Baseball, and 18-19 Panini Encased Basketball. Hot off the presses, new releases, 2 weeks worth. 2 weeks worth. 2 weeks. Topps Living this week, Dumpster Fire Week 74, card 220, Dansby Swanson, shortstop of the Atlanta Braves. Card 221, John Means, rookie pitcher of the Baltimore Orioles. Who? And card 222, Joey Gallo, DH outfielder, Texas Rangers.
So, is it likely that Ken's going to be the only one who buys the 5 John Means cards?
No,
So
I'll buy one because I need it because it's a rookie card. So I'll buy who the hell John Means is for $5. But
basically, we could take the total amount that he sells next week, and we can subtract 5 because that's probably how many Ken's going to buy, and that'll tell us how many people are trying to put this set together.
Yeah, Ken's going to be at least by 5. So
yeah, we need that exact number. That way we can figure out how many people are still pursuing a set.
hey, Steph, can you go back real quick to Tony Gwynn? Major Fam Video says, did you notice Tony Gwynn has the AL red? We're doing this live. I didn't notice that.
No, but that is interesting because now that I think about it,
Is it an error?
y'all know what? Yeah, he does.
Oh,
Interesting. I wonder if they're going to be
that way.
Yeah, if they're going to be printed that way. Otherwise, we need to let our friend Paul Lesko know.
Yeah, no, definitely. So Major Fan Videos, thank you for that. Breaking
awesome.
news.
Nice catch.
Let's put that on Twitter. Let everybody know. That's interesting.
Yeah, no, that's a good catch. We didn't catch that. And for anybody that isn't aware of the living at this point, you have the American League with the red and the National League with the black along the bottom. So, that's what 1953 Topps had done.
Yeah. No, I mean, this week's I can't get excited about this.
I mean, Dansby Swanson, is fairly exciting, but not exciting enough. I don't think any of these guys hit 3,000 unless Ken hits the lottery this week.
Well, I know that.
In fact, we expect to see Ken in his garage with as many boxes from Topps as Pat Neshek had.
Right.
So Dub, I know I like Dansby. I'm a fan of Dansby, and I'm not gonna tell you bad. It's not a good week, dude. Like, he got stuck in a bad week. Let's just be honest. He should be the third player in a week with a really good rookie and a Hall of Famer. He's not an All-Star yet, and I think he could be. But Dub, don't be mad at me, buddy.
If he keeps playing against the Twins, he will be.
All right, moving on.
Topps Chrome came out last Wednesday. Hobby Box is running about 112, 24 packs a box, 4 cards a pack. You're going to get 2 autographs. Jumbo is going to run you about 225, 12 packs a box, 13 cards a pack. You're going to get 5 autos and 12 refractors. It's a 204 card base set. The last 4 was Alonso, Guerrero, Jimenez, and Tatis. The main base set has the same general design as Flagship. Rookies and veterans primarily make up the checklist. And rookie autographs are bulk of the signatures. They're all on card auto. Now, the thing we noticed that is the last 4 cards. They were at the end, and because this is normally a 200 card set. So those last 4 cards, and we've also heard they've been miscut. They are smaller than the standard size.
So they've been trimmed.
Yeah, they've been pre-trimmed. So, Steph, when we were at the Q&A, they talked. This question was brought up, and do you remember what they said?
I know that we have it recorded. And I know that there's some variances that happen every now and then. And It's a quality control issue that they try to keep track of, but unfortunately things slip out. They notice way too late, and this is what you get. Usually,
they were going to touch base with the great grading companies and let them know. They were going to kind of see it was like the second day the product had been out, and they didn't know how widespread the issue was. Kind of like the damage of the inserts on Series 2 this year. So
if I'm understanding correctly, they're smaller than the traditional 2.5 by 3.5. Once they're submitted to PWCC, they'll be about the size of an Allen and Ginter Mini.
Yes.
Gotcha.
75 tops.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So
Okay.
75 tops. Not.
Gotcha. Okay. I just wanted to know for my personal, hey.
And just feedback from people I've heard breaking this, that the hobby has been really, really tough.
Right.
As far as return on your purchase with the autographs.
If you were to stack them on top of each other, they'd probably fall over.
So I don't put a lot of weight into a lot of stuff that we see on Facebook or I see on Facebook because a lot of it is pretty comical. There are some really, really good collectors on there, and there are some really good groups like Tobacco Row, which Ken Kinsley introduced me to. But I've seen a lot of feedback on Topps Chrome saying that retail is the way to go. Your hit ratio, you're pulling autos at a much better clip and higher, more color and whatnot. So take that for what it's worth. Don't run over to Target and blame me if you get skunked. But if you have the same amount of money to buy hobby versus retail, from what I've heard and seen, a lot of people are saying that they're spending their money with retail versus hobby. So
yeah. So, but I also heard the jumbo the return on the jumbo value was pretty good. So I saw some opened. We also had 2019 Panini Majestic football released last week. $350 a box, 2 packs per box, 4 cards per pack. You're going to get 4 autos, 2 mem cards, and 1 base and 1 parallel. It's a 180 card base set. It's a very high-end release or a higher-end release. All base cards are numbered out of 75. And the Majestic rookie signatures is also part of the main checklist, and those are numbered out of 199.
Psst. The thing. Yeah. So it looks like there's a base. Here's some of the relic autos.
Those were pretty sharp.
Sorry, I thought that kind of looked like the Dolphins logo there.
Maybe next year.
Yeah. So, and there's just a base signature, no relics. Base signature, no relic, different design. Mystic marks, kind of cool line design in the background there. Dual auto here. And if you're looking to spend some money on football,
I got to give Panini credit at the aboutthecards.wordpress.com website. We're trying to keep up on reviews as they come out, at least within a week or two. And I've been doing a lot of the football ones. And although I don't collect football, during the review process, Panini's been really on it with their football products this year. A lot of them have looked really, really sharp, whether we're talking about the base or the inserts. A lot of dual auto sets, triple auto sets, a lot of good stuff coming out of Panini right now if you're collecting football.
Mm-hmm.
We also, speaking of that, 2019 Panini Immaculate Collegiate football released last week. $350 box, 1 pack per box, 6 cards per pack, 5 autos and or mem, and 1 base or parallel. So 35 card base set. The earliest super premium of the 2019 draft class. The rookie patch autographs return as one of the cornerstones of the product. And look for the championship logos, bowl logos, and team logo shields, as well as conference logos. So for those guys that love the college stuff, you can have a college team that they go after. If they were, say, like an Alabama fan or a Tennessee fan or an LSU fan, the good teams down in the SEC,
right?
Good product, Ohio State. So Old Miss, great,
just not West Virginia.
West Virginia is in the Big 12, and
I don't know.
It's all about Oklahoma and stuff. So, yeah. Again, some high end, very high end product with those rookies. 18-19 Panini Contenders Optic basketball dropped as well. $125 a box last week. $125 a box, 1 pack per box, 6 cards per pack. You're getting auto, 2 inserts, 2 parallels, It's a 130 card base set. It puts the chromium spin on the regular Contenders release. It's very similar to Contenders Optic football. There are tougher Contender tribute autographs that use Contenders designs from 98, 03, and 07. The players on these match up with the rookies from those seasons. They also included 1981 Donruss as well. So I thought that was cool. So like right here, you got Dirk in the old school Mavericks uniform from his draft year and that rookie ticket. So that's an awesome looking card.
Well, and they're all green and the blue. I mean, I hate the Mavericks as a Spurs fan, but that's a really good looking card.
Right.
I like that old school green with that 80s, early 90s logo. It's pretty sharp. Maybe it's just the green that I like.
No, I thought it was cool. And then I like how they're going back and kind of retouching those old glasses.
Right.
Okay, so we're going to get to this week, guys. Today launched Topps Tribute. $280 a box, 6 packs per box, 3 cards per pack. You're going to get 3 autos, a dual relic, a stamped relic, approval relic, and a 1-of-1 triple relic. It's a 90-card base set. The rookies are 1 in every 3 boxes. Includes autograph or mem in every pack. It's a good mix of veterans and retired stars. Tribute autographs are the centerpiece or the central place for the signatures in the product. None of the mem cards in 2018 Topps Tribute are basic single swatches. So there's a nice variety. The stamp of approval relics are standard swatches in how they look. However, they have the added layer of the MLB authenticity. Oh, good Lord.
Something like that. Authentication.
Authentication. They have the little sticker on them so you can look them up and see what's game and it was used. So.
And then this is one
always been one of my favorites.
that was just amazing.
Yeah,
I think Stefan's having a lot of fun with this new platform for those people that are able to watch on YouTube. The fact that his screen is being shared 100% of the time.
I mean, I'm scrolling through pictures and stuff. Are those buybacks or those reprint?
I think they'd be reprint. I wouldn't.
Bought back 5. No, they bought back 5 full sets of the first release.
Oh wow! Okay, well, that's awesome.
So those are originals.
wow.
Are they doing the whole checklist on that? Because
So there's what, I think 48. No, 48 cards, I believe, and 5 copies of each.
wow, because they had 4 in that set. They had 3 reds and a blue, I think, or vice versa. I can't remember off the top of my head. But
also, last set coming out this week came out today. 2018 Panini Donruss football, $72 a box, 18 packs per box, 10 cards per pack. You're going to get 1 auto, 1 mem, 42 inserts, 12 parallels, and 18 rookies / indoor rated rookies. It's a 350 card base set, 50 rated rookies total. And the downtown cards have come to Donruss and feature some retired stars. So here's the Dan Marino. These are the one from the have been really popular in basketball. Now they're bringing them to football, and they have a nice artistic design. Take you back kind of to the 90s inserts.
And Kirby's titties.
What's up?
And Kirby's titties.
Yes. So a good entry level product to get you warmed up as fantasy drafts are taking off and preseason is underway. So very exciting. What's brewing next week's release is just 2: 2019 Bowman Sterling Baseball and 2019 Panini Unparalleled Football. But it's full of parallels. So what are you going to do? Yeah, so earlier in the show, if you didn't hang out with us, we spoke with G, the CEO of Replin, and talked about the service. And, so go back and check it out. He gives a lot of good feedback on it. But Replin basically some sellers build their personal brand without the fees. So it's really cool. You can use Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all those different channels and sell and build your Replin score. Check out their app, and it's in iTunes or in the iOS app, and then Android as well. So take a look at it. It's pretty cool. I've been doing it. You can always check mine out. It's replin.com/TBF Sports. Let me know what you think. And if you start to use it, let us know as well. So,
yeah, I'm sure they would appreciate all the user feedback. Anytime that they can make any improvements to the app, should there be any necessary. Super easy to download. If you are using it, like Tim said, let us know what you think of it, and that way we can pass along the information to G and James.
Sure. So Infield chatter, our hobby talk section. So Shane, not Justin Bieber. I don't know if you guys saw this, but the 2019 Stadium Club card on the back. I think we talked about this in our DMs like a week ago, where it said Justin and not Shane. And they were selling this week for over $25 on eBay. And then Topps came out and doubled down on it, and they released a Topps Now card that Shane Bieber autographed with the inscription "Not Justin," which is also his player weekend name on the back of his jersey.
So let me get this right. Let me see if I follow. They misprint his name, Shane. They put Justin on the back of the card, and then they double down and correct their error on a Topps Now to make more money off of it.
Yeah, why not?
That's definitely something we talked about this before.
We've made 58 mistakes in a row after that first show, and we keep coming and plugging away.
That's right.
Doubling down.
But we're not making any money off of it. They're printing money.
No, that's not what you don't think we're making any money.
Yeah.
It's Dan and Doug and I talked about our podcasting riches, and Steph and I busted 8 packs of 52 Topps, pulled 3 Mantles.
Yeah, 3 Mike Mantle.
Let's put it this way: we can't even afford to buy ourselves a Topps living card, should we want to, of John Means. That way, he gets up to 8. Kin's 5 plus 1 piece for us.
Yeah,
I
just thought it was funny. People were paying $25 for a second-year Shane Bieber card,
base card, when you could have bought the whole set for $30.
Yeah. So I saw this headline: Texas man has 7 million cards, and I was like, dude, that's Steph, because at our Airbnb, Steph rolls up, and he has his collection in the back of his car. Now they're not. I mean, they have a nice vehicle, but it's not a U-Haul van.
No, it's a hatchback.
It's a hatchback that has Steph's entire collection in the back of it, and then made me carry it all the way inside.
Why would you bring your whole collection anywhere?
Because I didn't bring all of it. I didn't bring the binders, and I did bring a few other 3,000 boxes.
Be honest. What was it? It was 5 or 6 3-row boxes.
Closer to like 8 or 9, yeah.
Okay, and then
why? If you're not selling it, I don't get it.
Well, because we were gonna have a trade night. So I brought, because I have all of my stuff broken down so that there's a relic box, there's an auto box, there's an auto relic box, there's a rookie and insert box.
It was fun though.
And then one of our buddies, SRU Chris, brought like 10 or 12 5,000 count monster boxes, and nothing happened.
Yeah.
Womp womp.
Yeah, just a lot of pizza. So no, it's Lowell Christensen of Round Rock, Texas. His wife had one rule: no baseball cards in the house. So this dude's got 7 million cards out in his garage. He sorts all the cards he gets by make, by the manufacturer, the year, series, and he keeps a record of his full sets. All the cards and company prints in a series. So he's binders and boxes in his garage. And about 2,000 full sets, most of them duplicates. Unlike a lot of collectors, though, he doesn't care about the value of what he's collecting. In fact, the vast majority of the cards aren't worth anything at all. Well, there's a quote, "I don't want to get into that game," he said. That's a whole different mindset. It's been his hobby. His hobby's been an escape through the decades. I thought it was pretty crazy. I just want to know, how many cards do you think you guys have?
Well, I pared down, and Ken's going to come over someday soonish and pare down some more. But I would say, at current, maybe 50, 60,000. How many have I had at my highest? Probably 150,000.
Yeah, there's probably about 25,000 ace cards I would need to be able to have the complete run of just base and inserts from 1909 through current. So I'm probably at about 1,300 of those, with another 6,000 or 7,000 parallels all that stuff. So I'd say my ace collection is probably in the low 20s. And then as far as all my sets, I'm probably about 50 to 60. I had recently about 200,000 or so out in the garage that I've purged and just liquidated just to get rid of. So I'm down to just basically sets and all my ace stuff. So yeah, I'd say about 50 or 60,000. And with all due respect to people like Bo, who's collecting 1 million Cubs, it's like to collect 1 million cards, you have to understand how many that is. How many? It's 20 stacks. Individual monster box stats stacked 10 high. That's an incredible amount of real estate. Yeah. And that's to get to 1 million, not 7 million.
Yeah, I just real quick math of just counting the monster boxes behind me. Plus my sets over here. I would say I'm probably $250,000 to 300,000.
You couldn't fit 7 million cards comfortably in that room that you're in.
Oh no,
you couldn't, because you'd stack them too high, and then all of a sudden now you compromise the integrity of the cardboard boxes that they're in, the monster boxes.
That's only 1,400 monster boxes.
That's it. I mean, think about that. I mean, and you can't have any in the house. Where does he keep them?
Yeah,
your garage isn't that big unless you've got like a 17-car garage.
What is Texas and land's like $1 a square foot? So.
I mean, also, in all seriousness, he'd have to have a 2-car garage, if not a 3-car garage, to be able to comfortably move around there and not stack them high to the point where, now you're having issues.
Yep, I just thought it was a crazy article.
That has to be the Guinness World Record if he hasn't had it cataloged.
What was his name? Taco Pete or
Foul Ball Paul?
Foul Ball Paul. I haven't watched the whole thing yet.
No, he says he has the world record. And maybe at one time he did, which was 2 million. But there are so many people that we know, that I know personally, at least a half dozen people that would eclipse 2 million. So
I don't know if this is Parkway Socks or PKWY Socks, but they have 2019 Topps baseball cards exclusively in marked pairs of their MLB licensed socks. So. The cards are virtually the same as the base set for 2019 Topps. The only major difference is they have their little logo. So, we had the Michael Jordan underwear cards earlier this year, and now we have PKWY Socks that have baseball cards in them.
Well, and haven't they done these in like at least the last 2 years now?
I just feel. Yeah, I feel like all of a sudden, though, because we had the yellow and purple Series 1 parallels. We have those clear, that brand clear that was giving out at games when you signed up for stuff. There's just a lot going on. So Series 2, there's no yellows. There's been a limited number of purples for Meyer pop-up, but they've said we're not doing yellows at Walgreens for Series 2. Like, then why even bother with Series 1? Stupid.
Now, here's the issue, and we discussed this on shows around that time.
A series ending just on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with the yellows was they didn't come out until April, I believe it was, and you had Series 1 came out in February or late January, was it? And it's like now you're releasing Series 1 after opening day has broke. Around the time Gypsy Queen came out, if I'm not mistaken. And it's just like, you can't do that. Everybody has what they want out of that product. You've moved past it 2 months ago. I think if they had dropped it at the same time, it might have had more success. But the bottom line is nobody even knows. I mean, people are like, wait a minute, Walgreens has cards? And how many of our friends went there looking for them and couldn't find them, anywhere that they allegedly were supposed to have them in the seasonal stuff or up by the registers? It was just a really bad plan. So, if you got your team sets and your favorite players out of Series 1, fantastic. But it's not a surprise it didn't come back.
Yeah, I mean, I looked weekly at Walgreens, and I even ran into the lady that was in charge of that section, the seasonal section, and she said that 3 or 4 stores in the area didn't have them on their planogram to put out even. So, yeah. Something you can go get for free this week, this Saturday, August 10th, is National Baseball Card Day. there's going to be, so again, they do this every year. You go out to your local shops. There's a good number of participating shops, and so there's free packs, and there's a couple of other cards you can get for making qualifying purchases at the shops. So there's a base set, but they also have inserted autographs randomly, which is pretty cool. The Bryce Harper is one of the cards when you make a special purchase on August 10th, and a week later a Vlad Guerrero Jr. is added to the checklist. So that's pretty neat. Another Vlad Guerrero Jr. rookie. And the idea is to get collectors to return to participating shops. Topps has also done a similar team-focused set for stadium giveaways. I know this because one of my followers on Twitter, a guy I follow as well, went to the Royals game and they were giving him out, and he's sending me the Royals set. So I'm super happy. These happen in the days and weeks leading up to National Baseball Card Day. Now they have all this on the site and also in this article as well. So there's a picture of the Trout. These are always fun.
So on the previous topic, I was kind of doing the math, and I think that my work office with no desks could hold 3,600 to 5,000 count boxes. So if Rich wants to take in more and have the largest collection in the U.S., we need to ditch their desks and computers and monitors and everything else.
Yeah, real quick, you had said that it was cool. Your thought was it was cool that they're inserting autos in this year, and I have to respectfully disagree. I think that this is such a hit-driven hobby right now because of it being the breaker era. Having the National Baseball Card Day, I don't think needs autos. We have too much of that. There's an oversaturation beyond oversaturated.
Yeah, but it's not every pack. It's not the only thing in there.
But now you're encouraging people just to go there and hound them and oversell them on eBay or even LCSs to pocket them.
That's
sell them at a later date. It's like, this would be for us to take our kids in there, get a pack, open it up. Doesn't really matter who you get. It's just cool that you're getting something for the promotion. You don't need to have an autograph in every damn product. I'm sorry, you don't.
Well, and that's what I was going to add was that, especially from our local experience on this particular event in particular, where shops are pocketing them or selling them ahead of time or donating them to this, that, or the other, or, ripping all of them themselves and seeing what they can get. A base card set isn't a bad thing. No, I like the idea of them doing it, but in practice, I don't know how well that's going to go over. I mean, last year, because the idea, at least Topps says, that you're supposed to be able to bring a pack, or come to the store and get a pack. Now, some of the shops institute, well, you have to spend $10 to get one pack. Okay, fine, sure. But some of the shops, well, your wife isn't a collector, so she doesn't get one. Or your kids don't get one. Or, well, maybe that's why they came in with that person. The whole idea is to spread the hobby, spread the shop, spread the everything else.
And most people don't need an extra excuse to go to your LCS should you be in an area where you have one or more than one. So it's not necessarily to incentivize you go, and maybe I'd go this weekend as opposed to not because they are giving away something. Right. But I know Tim goes to Teammates all the time because he lives up the street. I don't. I'm a good 45 minutes away. But you just don't need an autograph in there. It would be good for the kids to here's a free pack of cards. Here's 2 free packs of cards. You're not getting anything of monetary value necessarily, but you're getting something that you can go home and put in, penny sleeves or in a binder and enjoy one day a year. Come on.
Yeah. I get your point.
And it looks like they're adding 2 additional cards. So depending on which day and qualifying purchase, you get a Bryce Harper card, or a week later coming back, you get a Vladimir Guerrero Jr. card.
Yeah. So Chuck Banks, it's on Twitter, reached out and said, so everyone else find these hanger boxes of Bowman Platinum with special 2019 Gallery National Baseball Card Day pack inside. He didn't see them on eBay yet, but they're on the Walmart website. So he was able to to show those. So here's what we're talking about.
I got it.
Okay. Well,
So we just real quick while he's pulling that up, we don't have a checklist of who's being included in the National Baseball Card Day.
Not yet.
I don't see one.
no, I didn't see one yet either. I was looking for it
Okay.
today. So here's what those
The gallery
gallery
cards.
cards look like. It was Altuve, Acuna, Ohtani, and Trout. So interesting. So if you're looking for some additional ones, go pick up a Bowen Platinum hanger box, and they'll have the little mark on it that tells you that those are in there. So I always get JK's handle wrong.
Caniac.
What's up?
Is it Caniac?
Caniac collector. He's got really good questions he puts out. So we stole this one. Hope it's okay. Hobby question: if there's a team or player UPC, if the team or player UPC didn't exist, who would you collect? Mine would be Dustin
Bufflin.
some guy in the Winnipeg Jets. So by Fuglin?
Bufflin.
Bufflin. That doesn't even say Bufflin. There's a G in there.
The G kind of gets like muted.
Yeah.
By
Or the
Bufflin.
Winnipeg Jets. Now, I don't know if he means the current Jets or the old Jets, but
Current Jets.
who would be yours, Ben, if the A's didn't exist?
Yeah, it's kind of a convoluted question because when I first read it, I responded and said I wouldn't collect. But then, of course, I wouldn't know that the A's ever existed, right? So I would have collected somebody. So it's one of those things that if they didn't collect, I would have had another favorite team. Growing up, I love the Montreal Expos. I would have collected them. They would have been my favorite team. So then if they didn't exist and so on and so forth. So, I honestly, I don't know. I mean,
That's a really crappy answer.
I know it is. Usually I'm full of answers, and they're usually
No, normally
multi-layered.
Not the only thing you're full of.
Not answers. I think it's just good.
But, if the Montreal Expos were still around, I probably would choose them. It would definitely be something baseball, and it might just be players.
It wouldn't have been the Cincinnati Reds and Eric Davis.
Possibly. I mean,
Based
growing
on
up,
that being the first card you open.
if the A's weren't there, because I really didn't become an A's collector until '87, so I might have latched on to Cincinnati. And hey, guess what? I would have been able to root for them in 1990, although they wouldn't have beat the A's. So now all of a sudden we're talking about a space time.
It would be the Red Sox, right? Because that's who beat the A's to get in the World Series that year.
Doesn't know, because what if your favorite team is the Red Sox and they didn't exist, and all of a sudden now sports doesn't exist?
Well, let's not go down that road because
this is a deep black hole of a question.
real quick, check out Bean's comment, which is the best.
I would, Ken's on one tonight. I'm telling you this much.
Well, I've been going at West Virginia. Steph, who would it be if the Twins didn't exist? If your Minnesota Wild didn't exist? If your
Hey, touchy subject. Don't be talking about hockey not existing.
Well,
Fuck Norm. So I've kind of had to experience this in that, we had Mike Modano and several other guys in the Minnesota North Stars team, as well as the Mighty Ducks movie cameos existing and then not. So it was kind of a dark period, and I was a kid as well, so kind of just stopped caring. Watching Gretzky kind of took up my time. And, maybe that's what I would end up doing for baseball, caring more about Mike Trout instead of my Twins. Or, you see this more in basketball with like LeBron or Steph Curry, or they're fans of the player, not a team. I think that's maybe about the route I would have gone.
that's it'd be hard. But you'd think that you would have some kind of favorite team. But like if George Brett didn't exist, I was going to go that way, like a player, it would have been Tony Gwynn for me. Because I don't know, we talked about this when his Topps Living got released. I just was a fan of his for some reason as a little kid in Kansas. And so that he would have been Tony Gwynn. So it was a good question. I like that. See, we were talking about this. I love getting, having guys that collect, put questions out like this, and then we borrow them and put them on the show.
I'm kind of liking what Nick's throwing in chat there. Fuck Norm.
Here we go. I would have collected Mark and Mindy cards from 1978. That's perfect.
That's actually a really good set. I don't know if my dad still has one, but I know that at one point we had one in the family. And
Steph, didn't you have a pack of that?
Yeah, I was about to say, I think Nick won a pack war between the two of you for a pack of Mark and Mindy.
From 1978. Yeah. So card table etiquette. Being at the National this last week and all the different tables, one of my new buddies, Booby Maine, Robbie, he can't now. Every time I hear him read his tweets, his voice, his Tennessee voice is in my head.
So not to kill this topic too early, but Cardboard Icons has one for us. Speaking of those flatties that you get early,
oh yeah,
someone's selling them for $250 each.
Wow.
so, Booby Maine.
Yes, card table etiquette. This is his tweet. Card table etiquette with regards to someone invading your space when you're looking through boxes. What's acceptable? I've had people literally climb over my shoulder to grab cards out of a box I'm looking through. I couldn't do that to someone else. Drives me nuts. What are your thoughts, guys?
So I try to. I mean, I'm a bigger guy, so I kind of get to reserve my own boxes. But if someone wants to dig in, I'll usually at least expect them to say, "Hey, what side have you already gone through?" Or, "Hey, who are you looking for? What are you looking for?" Or if I see it, I'll pull it. If it's a section that I haven't gone through, and that's a great, a bare minimum. Hey, what have you gone through? What haven't you done? Can I help? Okay. And then if someone's going to go over my shoulder, I think this is my response there. Crack.
So, at local shows, it's much smaller. At a place like the National, where everything is so much bigger and you're so much to see, I can see people being more eager, trying to get that deal or trying to look through something and move on quicker because there's so much to get to. But Steph's right. If all three of us are trying to get in the same box, and let's say it's a monster box,
Phrasing.
there's no reason, even though all three of us are on the bigger side, that we can't all share. What have you seen? Hey, Tim, you and I have done that before. Here's a stack, and you're going through a stack that I just
need it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Or now it's a little different in our case because we're friends, but a lot of times if Tim and I are standing together at a local show, one of us will thumb through while the other one is kind of over their shoulder looking. We don't have to both have our hands on the cards.
Usually I'm looking over his shoulder because if he looked over my shoulder, he'd have to be on the ladder.
Anyway, everybody's so ripe tonight with comments.
Saucy. No, I agree. I know I'm one of those guys that's like, dude, but if I'm in like a 1 row box or a 2 row box, let me get through this and then it can be yours.
Right.
Right.
But the fun thing is being a little bit taller than everybody else. No one usually messes with me, so
it's all about communication. Don't be a jerk and just kind of creep in. I don't care how long you're planning on being in the show. I don't care. I was here first, but at the same time, there's plenty of etiquette. It goes both ways. I don't mind taking a step over so you can share the box, as long as we both communicate on that.
Yeah. No, definitely. So Joe Orlando is a tool. So he is the CEO or president or whatever of PSA Grading,
Collectors Universe. Yeah.
So in a letter, this came out. This is a tweet from Sports Card Guy 23 on Twitter, and this was last week. But in a letter to customers on Wednesday, Collectors Universe CEO Joe Orlando doubled down on his company accepting no fault for grading trimmed cards and placing the blame on those who are involved in the trimming. And this is a quote: "Like most other industries, ours contains a fraction of people who choose to do nothing more than complain about how third-party systems aren't perfect instead of offering feasible or logical ways to make it better." Orlando wrote, "Their expectation of human-based opinion service is simply unattainable. The train has left the station long ago. You can choose to get on board and take the ride, which can occasionally get bumpy along the way, or get left behind with delusions that somehow returning to the Wild West the 1980s is better than what collectors have today. So trimmed cards and BS and no responses are better than what we have today.
But he didn't stop there, did he? He doubled down.
No. He got it. He posted this thing, taking my hacks. Our buddy Mario put this one up. So there's 4 of them. I'm just going to read through the things I get tired of in this hobby. Just like anything else, the hobby has its good and bad side. There are things as a hobbyist you wish you could change, and others that just make you scratch your head. For this month's column, I thought I would share some of those things and ponder some of the things that frighten and confuse me, as most things do to unfrozen caveman lawyer. Maybe, just maybe, you feel the same way. I have a feeling I'm not alone. So here it goes. 4 things that I get tired of in the hobby.
Want to alternate between each one?
Yes. Yeah.
Sure. The know-it-alls. Let's face it. No matter how much we all think we know about collectibles, no one knows at all. That said, there are those who are self-proclaimed experts. No. Whether it's knowing exactly how cards were cut at the factory decades ago, or knowing that a particular celebrity never signed a certain way, which we covered previously with Walking Dead, their knowledge is often based on nothing. The reality is, in most cases, reasonable conclusions are based on research, logic, and patterns, but rarely are those conclusions based on absolutes. The irony here is that most know-it-alls actually know very little. Real experts are comfortable admitting that they may not know everything. It's time for an ego check.
Ben, you could have the next one.
Why? Because it's aptly named the Angry Internet Troll. Don't you just love these guys? These are the guys who do nothing but bash, bully, demean, and harass on various message boards and or Twitter. He didn't say that. I'll go ahead and throw that one in there. You know what they say. Everyone is 10 feet tall behind a computer. Their strongest assets appear to be the ability to express just how jealous they are of others, and sometimes lying without a hint of regret. We should cue the sappy 80s sitcom music, as you know, sad parts coming. How they have time to post so much is beyond me. Apparently they have no life and are here to take that out on the rest of the world. Here's a suggestion. The hobby is supposed to be fun. So if the hobby is making you that miserable, do everyone else a favor and leave. Well, this guy is so full of himself, it's not even funny.
So number 3 is on a different tweet because Mario got excited and cut it out. It's Compulsive Liar. Sports Card News posted it. Compulsive Liar. Time and time again, these guys just insist on making things up. They come in the form of collectors and dealers. They claim that autographs are obtained in person when the signature is pre-printed, auto pen, or medium was manufactured after the subject died. They claim that every card they submit was obtained from a little old lady who lives on a farm in the South. All they can say is that little old lady must have one heck of a collection, since so many people have been buying from her for the last 30 years. It goes back to principle I strongly believe. And Providence can be a wonderful thing and sometimes valuable complement to a collectible, but it's no substitute for merit.
And that's true. Mr. Reneg, there might not be anything more frustrating to a collector, dealer, or auction house than a person who backs out of a deal after an agreement has been reached. In my opinion, this behavior is tolerated way too much. In any other business, you lose your credibility almost instantly by doing this, getting cut off. But here, since we are often dealing with items that are rare and desirable, we don't penalize the repeat offenders enough. The desire for the collectibles increase our tolerance for unacceptable treatment, which is sad but true. Thanks for letting me vent a little this month. The hobby can be a great place filled with many good people. But that doesn't mean there aren't aspects of it that could improve, or better yet, go away. Never get cheated.
So don't
Is this fool looking in the mirror while he was writing this? And it's like he's pointing in the mirror, talking to himself. You know, oh boy, this guy, and I don't know I exactly who said what and why, but PSA's been on we're gonna block everybody.
Oh yeah,
and
block Mike Summer.
It's like, yeah, Mike's one of the no,
but he didn't even really do anything.
And that's the thing is, listen. Newsflash, social media is optional. Nobody says you have to have an account on any of the social media platforms. Okay. If you're a company that decides, hey, we're going to have an official Twitter account, for instance, cool, have one. But you're going to be subjected, especially in a case like this, where there's this big scandal going around. There's going to be a lot of things that are said and done that are not going to reflect kindly upon you. Stay off social media then. I mean, how many, like Le'Veon Bell says a bunch of stupid stuff, right? Kevin Durant with burner accounts. Stop. Just leave it alone. If you're going to say what you say it.
So the best thing is the banner on the PSA handle, PSA card during the National was something about collecting and valuables, and it had a Joe Namath card in the header. That was the one that was trimmed and brought to light, and they were getting slammed for it. And that's really started blocking a whole bunch of people, and they took it down within a few minutes, but it still got posted. It was hilarious.
I love that, for following and being followed by PSA, but not yet blocked. Twitter wants to suggest PWCC.
No, okay, we don't know. We don't know how all this is going to shake out. We don't know who is involved and to what degree. Who knew what. We know everybody's got their hands in it. Where PSA and BGS and SGC and everybody comes out when the wash comes out of the dryer, we're not going to know. But right now, when you do stupid stuff like this, makes you look guilty. Full transparency right now, they look guilty as sin. And blocking people, okay, their whole business model, they offer nothing proprietary. We have cards. We submit them to PSA for their expertise to authenticate or to give it a grade. And then they send it back to us, and we pay them for that. And then you're going to go blocking potential customers. That is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Could you imagine Coca-Cola saying, you know what, you're going to go to a restaurant that only serves Pepsi products because you chose to go to that restaurant. You know what? As a matter of fact, you can't drink Coca-Cola ever again. Are you serious? Yeah. This is just stupidity at its height. And to put out a moronic statement, whoever his PR guy is needs to step in front of him and go, hey, wait a minute. We don't do this around here. Don't say anything. And if you have to say something, don't say that.
Right. It almost seems like they need to listen to a panel from the main stage about content creation because they have poor social media skills if that's their response to being called out once.
You don't block, you embrace. Embrace what people and bring the haters, right? I'm by the way, I'm just letting you know I'm an industry shill. So is Steph. We'll get to that later. But real quick, we've beat this to a dead horse, and people, they're like I said, some people have tried to call us in the mat that we haven't talked about trimmers or exposed to stuff. And we've been I believe one of the leaders in all of this, but there's more. So Mike and Mark Skerbe of Triple S Sports Cards in Shelbytown, Michigan. They're currently an authorized PSA dealer. They're one of the largest single dealers of 50s and 60s regular issued and specifically and specialty oversized and jumbo cards, and sell lots of cards via their eBay store, which is Triple SSS Inc., but even more cards via Heritage Auctions, Mile High Card Company in Memory Lane. If you've ever purchased a high-grade 50s or 60s PSA card from one of the noted auction houses ever, there's a fair chance you bought it from these guys. So this is all from a blowout forum post. By judging how many high-grade copies of certain cards can be linked back to them, there are some cards that would likely not exist in a high grade if it was not for their efforts. Their scheme is seemingly easy to categorize, but almost impossible to fully explain. The oversized cards, as I will show below, and this is in the post. I'll bring up Steph as the post here. The oversized cards, as I will show below, are subject to normal trimming. However, the 2.5 by 3.5 cards appear to be subject to some combination of flattening, filling, shaving in order to drastically sharpen the corners on the card and take any given PSA 6, 7, or 8 and turn it into a 9, yielding immense profits. However, the exact method is unclear. I've separated the cards below into two categories. The first is 4 trimmed oversized cards, And the second is a slew of standard size cards with altered corners and or edges. And these pictures are, and there's highlights. It shows where they were sold, where they were purchased, where the differences lie between the two cards, the spacing, and you can tell that they were trimmed or cleaned up. It was remarkable. And it's a shame because these cards, we all know that these cards weren't well taken care of. They were well loved back in the 50s and 60s, and they didn't have the knowledge or they didn't have the protection that we currently have in the hobby today. So we understand that and we accept that. So these cards, like any card now, by the way, that's pre-70 that I see that has a 9, I'm saying it's full. That's full of shit.
Well, to that point, my dad and I were talking about this earlier because I'm starting to revisit a book that I had started writing last year about my experiences in the hobby and whatnot. And, a point that he and I were making was basically what you just said, Tim, that, this was a confectionery company, Topps and Fleer and all of these companies back in the late 40s, early 50s. And it wasn't until the late 60s, early 70s that the industry as a whole really started to develop into the collectible aspect that we know and love today. So many of these cards were stuck in bicycle spokes and written on and jammed into pockets and rubber bands and so on and so forth that you're right. The majority of these would have been damaged to some degree if they predate 1970 and even beyond, really until you started to get into the 80s. So yeah, if you start seeing 9s coming out of there, in the 50s and 60s, proceed with extreme caution to the point where that something somewhere along the way has been touched up.
Yeah.
Well, and it was kind of the joke of the show, I dropped a card and hey, it's a PSA 9 now. Or, well, hey, let me get a pair of scissors. I'll give them back to you real quick. Got to go to the PSA luncheon.
It's amazing too to reference some of the stuff that you see on Facebook. People all day long, don't you dare touch that card with that.
I'm getting it to be a 9.
I want that card to be a 4. So if you're not watching live, Tim was illustrating scissors to an 87 McGuire rookie card.
Second year.
Rookie card. But there's a lot of people on Facebook all the time. Should I get this graded? Should I get this graded? Either the reach of the scandal hasn't yet hit all avenues and aspects of the hobby, and only a certain percentage of people know, or people just don't care.
No, Ben, the first thing's right. Not anybody knows. Not everybody knows. And even people on Twitter. So, the fantasy baseball league we're in?
Right.
You help me with our team. We're pretty terrible, but it's okay. We're in a rebuild. I'm in a DM group with all of those guys. And these guys are high. A good handful of them are big, giant prospecting guys. I mean, they're early on the guys like the second. Like somebody's even hit a home run, they're already on the guy, right? I mean, they know their minor leagues and they know the prospects, and that's what they do. They had no idea, a majority of them, no idea that this was happening. And they love their graded cards. And so I filled them in about the show. I filled them in where they could find the information, and blown away. When we were at the National, people did not know about this. So many collectors are out in the dark about this because it's only been really on, if you're not on the Blowout forums, you're not on Twitter, and probably on Facebook groups, you're not seeing it. So if you're not a social media person in collecting and you're just collecting to collect, you're in the dark and you have no idea what you're buying could be altered, trimmed, faked, whatever. So
no, and it's important that all of the podcasts, and that includes not just about the cards, but all of our friends and sister podcasts and everything, that we get that word out, that all of our listeners and all of our friends get the word out, because it's extremely important that everybody knows you're still welcome to do with your money what you will. If you still have a level of trust in the grading, okay, we can't stop you from spending your money. But it's one of those things that once you're educated, you make a better decision for yourself. If you want to do it, you want to go down to your local card shop and toss some on their table and have them submit for you. You want to, ship to BGS and PSA. And we're not saying that everything is corrupt. There's just proceed with caution. We don't know. Nobody knows at this point what this scandal is and who all is involved. So just spend your money wisely. You can always get that card graded 6 months from now, a year from now, when all of this comes out. And certain companies are being held to different levels of transparency moving forward. And there's a chance that one or two of them might fall off the face altogether because of this and shut down. Bigger companies in stronger industries have fallen as a result of any number of things that are probably less.
The financial crisis.
Yeah, I mean, you see it all the time, and businesses fall by the wayside for any number of things. This is a pretty big thing within this industry. Just wait 6 months, and then submit to your favorite grading company once.
Well, yeah, and then you'll get it like 12 or 18 months later.
Well, and look at it from failing to adapt and failing to improve. I mean, look at Blockbuster. They had a chance to buy out Netflix, and they'd be $1 billion, if not higher.
Oh yeah, they laughed at Netflix.
Or MySpace. I mean, they attempted a few format updates, and they got overtaken by Facebook, or Dig back in the day before Reddit came along. I mean,
how about Ask Jeeves?
There you go.
Right.
And a lot of these are well, I mean, even like Netflix. I mean, it still hasn't turned a profit and is billions of dollars in debt, and are losing content left and right as these companies like Disney and NBC are going to their own streaming services. There's
how do we get started? It's just internet cable now.
But when you think about if a company like Netflix theoretically could succumb to debt within a 5-year window,
you're roboting pretty bad. What was that sentence, Jen?
No, it's just internet cable is what I said.
Yeah. So if you have companies that can succumb to their own demise based off of any number of variables within their given industry, and don't have to deal with a fraud like this, only imagine which of these companies might survive. And somebody else will come along under new guidelines, and they'll be watched like a hawk. And like I said, wait a few months, see what happens before you submit your favorite card for grading. There are plenty of protection, like Tim had said, back in the 60s. They didn't have all of these wonderful encasements that we have now. You can protect a card right now just as good as having it encased. You just don't have a grade associated with it. And you don't really need one right now. So just wait.
Yeah, no, and so I can't believe how many people aren't aware, but I guess because we're in this a lot more than others, we need to be the ones out there leading that charge. So
broadcasting it to everyone, yeah.
And we're trying. ComC and eBay. So there's a guy. There's an issue like what he quote lost card. So at the real DFG, I just caught this tweet. It says my issue with the lost card I sold had to refund and now is mysteriously listed on ComC and eBay. So ComC to eBay was informed by both corporates that they'll only act if law enforcement inquires. Here's to screwing the little guy again. Had so much fun with the hobby at the National and now totally discouraged. So what it looked like is he'd sent a card. It was listed as never showed up. And now someone's selling it on ComC via eBay. And he also continued, I have the USPS tracking number, which still shows nothing. I have the emails between myself and the buyer. I have both PayPal transaction IDs. My auction does not come up on eBay anymore because it's from August of 2018. eBay won't let me report the new auction since I'm not law enforcement.
So I see several lines that failed in the chain process. One, UPS never popped anything for his tracking. Two, the seller demanded his money back and kept the card, obviously. Yeah. PayPal refused to refund the money to handle it. The eBay people said that they wouldn't handle it, and from the looks of it, ComC, he must have reached the right person because now they want to reach out to him, find the item number on the website if it's available, to see who has it, where it came from, etc. And that's all things that they should be able to see because I've seen stuff like that. And they should be able to reach out and say, hey, if you have this information and we have this information and to the same person, you got a pretty good case. You might want to go talk to either a lawyer or the police or whoever.
Yeah, and I'm not saying eBay or ComC did anything wrong here.
No. I mean, how would
he's
they?
blaming the wrong people. I think he's just upset about what's going on.
Sure.
But it's a shame that, we know this stuff happens, unfortunately.
Sure. But, I mean, there's no way that they would have known that this was stolen. But to initially respond that way, it's kind of poor.
Yeah.
But it looks like at least on their end, they're trying to resolve it.
Well, and at the end of the day, how much was the card worth? I hate to devalue the situation, but you're not going to go to a lawyer over a $50 card, over a $100 card, and the police have so many more important things to deal with that it's one of those things. Yeah, he's getting the runaround, and whether it's USPS, eBay, PayPal, ComC, they're each working within the confines of their regulations, whether we agree with them or not, and ultimately it's going to seem like this guy's getting passed around. And everybody's trying to pass the buck to the next entity. Maybe there's a little bit of that going on, but it just, it sucks, especially when the proof's right there in front of you.
Right.
Like, hey, that's mine. But at the end of the day, what are you going to do? It's one of those things where you just kind of have to chalk it up at a loss and be upset. He took to Twitter and vented. What else are you going to be able to do?
No,
well, sure.
As bad as it sounds. And I'm not trying to, just playing devil's advocate, I suppose, right?
So just some things we saw throughout. We're like an hour and 15 into the show here tonight, guys. It's been great. Kind of recap what the National looked like. One, from what Steph and I were able to experience together, meet the first time in a decade of knowing each other almost, which was super cool. Got to meet. I personally got to meet a lot of collectors that I've interacted with. That's interacted with the show. A quick shout out to a few specific viewers that came up to us. Victor came up and talked to Steph and I. People were hollering at us and saying hi. It was, dude, Ben, people missed you. Like, that was a thing. So we really we should have just put you in my suitcase instead of the Topps complete sets.
Right.
Do you know how much weight that would have been at the terminal?
Probably would have weighed less.
It would have been cheaper just to buy a seat, okay?
But no, Victor, and then there was Tim. So of course he's awesome, right? And then there was Jim from the Bay. I met Brett, and he was super cool. Met a guy named Brent. Guys listening to the show came up to me. I don't know if they came up to Steph. It was fun to see. But what we saw,
Barry Sanders collector guy.
Oh, Chris. He was already following Steph and I stopped him because I saw he met Barry Sanders and got his autograph when we were chatting, and we were both already following each other. Super nice guy, teacher down in Arkansas. Only got to show up because a dealer he knew hooked him and his family up with some passes so they could come up and afford to go there. We're going to talk about some of the viewers in the chat that we got to run into as well, but those are a few guys. So one of the coolest things I saw there, besides 8 packs of 52 Topps together for sale for $575,000. I almost bought it.
We split it.
Steph and I were going to split it, but we just decided to do other stuff with our money. Was Tim Carroll. He was making a 53 Trout, and if you've not seen Tim Carroll's artwork, what he does is he cuts up other baseball cards to create a big giant version of another card. It was a 52 Trout. Basically, was the Topps living Trout, and dude, what he does, he's sitting there and people are talking to him, and he's scissoring away, cutting on cards and putting it together, and a sweetheart of a man. Steph interacted with him quite a while. We're going to hopefully be able to work out to have him come on the show at some time. Yeah, sorry. New format. We're trying to work it out. So here's him working away. And the best thing was his business cards. He took
91 Fleer.
And then took the scissors that have the ups and downs and cut all the edges around, and then had a print out sticker and put it over the card. So it was a pretty cool business card. So yeah, that's him working away. Podcasters, we met Doug and Dan from Mojo Break. We ran into Rob and Ivan at our Go GTS. Val from NASCAR Radio. What a gentleman! Eric Norton from the Fat Packs, Drew from Let Me Get That Potograph. We've had him on the show. We sat down and we did interviews. We interviewed the COM CCO, Tim Getch, and we got to see the app. So we're going to release these interviews this week once I get some time to put them together. But ComC has an app coming out that is fantastic, and we got to see it. He couldn't show anybody, but he showed us. It was pretty awesome. Brian Flint from SCD Magazine. We sat down and he interviewed us, or we interviewed him, and then he interviewed us. So hopefully that's coming out soon. We did a Mojo session with Mojo Break, and as Brian Phelps here said, those Mojo Break interviews, those were really good. And then we did a panel of Fat Packs with Eric Norton, Mike Summer, and Pack Geek, talking about creating content and what that's like. As Steph shared earlier, we met Stu Stone, the star of Jack of All Trades.
Just happened to bump into him leaving the show.
We were leaving the show and bumped into him. So who else? We ran into Dan Korean Cardboard. We got some. I think I just have it right behind me here.
You're missing a special signature on there.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I'd call her over to sign it for you, but it's not going to help.
Korean Cardboard has some killer shirts. Just killer. So brought that back. I had a little thing I had everybody sign. I ran into. We ran into Dub. I mean, dude, we ran into.
Which Rich didn't get bumped into Dub, so he's kind of disappointed by that. But Dub was only there for like a day and change.
Just real quick, I want to let you know I wet myself when I was at the National.
You're welcome.
Steph sends me a DM. Hey, come over here. And I'm like, where are you? Because this is like 900,000 square feet of just stuff. And he sends me a couple of pictures of up high so I could find where they were. So I find Steph, and Steph goes, hey, go down on the end and say hi. Like there's somebody on the end you need to talk to.
Have him sign your thing.
Yeah. So I trot down there, and there's a guy on the end. He's flipping through like a dime box. And I look and I go, excuse me, sir. And he turns around, and it's Dr. Jim Beckett. And I'm like, oh, okay, awesome. And he goes, hey, Big Shep. Dude, lost my mind. Knees wobbled. I mean, this is Jim Beckett. I mean, he, like, Ben, you know, like, he created this magazine we all lived for in the 90s. He knew who we were. He knew the podcast. He'd watched the podcast. He enjoyed the podcast. We discussed it. I got his autograph. And then I said, hey, have a good rest of your day. I know I'm going to take up more of your time, because I was just like numb and my brain wasn't working real well. And I walked like half mile back across the show and found a space and sat down for a minute.
I think he needed a cold shower.
Yeah.
So since you met him and he's watched the podcast, what date and time are we going to have him on?
I don't know. We didn't get that far because I was just dumbfounded.
Well, we can talk to Uncle Rich. We do know that his only critique is that we run a bit long. But he likes the show, so there's that.
He does his own podcast, and we talked, and he said, hey, being on camera is just not for him, and he likes what we do here. I met Tim from Signatures for Soldiers.
Very nice guy.
Was able to pick, what's his name's Tim, but I picked this up for $15. They had another shirt. Steph picked up the other version. Love the shirt. I also picked up.
I think he saved me from a ticket in Illinois.
Yeah.
We were leaving, and my phone had said, hey, there's a speed trap up ahead. I'm like, okay, cool. Angela, do 5 under. Well, we come up to a work zone, so like, okay, so this is probably the speed trap, right? So we're driving along. We're going 5 under at this point, and the speed drops again to 5 miles. So I tell Angela, go 5 under that. So she dropped 10 miles an hour at this point. We're doing like 35, 40. And sure enough, blue and red lights flip up. Pull us over, ask for Angela's license, and he's like, well, how fast are you going? Addressed it. He's like, oh, hang on, I'll come back. A couple minutes later, well, you need to slow down. There's another work zone up ahead. You just go slow. And, every other car that was pulled over, Kentucky, Iowa, out-of-state plates. We're driving our car from Texas. And our car is the only one that had a S for S sticker on the back. So I'm not saying that helped, but it didn't hurt.
Yeah. But from Tim, picked up this 86 Topps autograph Eric Davis for someone,
which is nice because
it was the first card I saw.
It looks like this,
Yeah.
which is funny that I saw that on your thing because my dad had bought that one for me off of eBay. I thought it was you, and I actually took to Twitter one day and I'm like, whoever sent me this is amazing because I had told the story where I hit up Eric Davis on Facebook and told him I'd love to send him an 86 Topps to get signed, and he responded with a big thumbs up, but not a mailing address. So for not only my dad to find one, but now you found one, I think is pretty cool because of how much that card means to me.
Yeah.
Which is the whole reason we're doing this podcast anyway, is our love and passion for the hobby.
Steph and I went hunting, and we brought you back some treasures. So,
man, I feel like Nicolas Cage in National Treasure, and you're holding the, everything in your hands there. I mean, that's just amazing.
We had dinner with Nick Wasika, our photographer friend. That was super cool.
He got really, speaking of interesting business cards, his media passes for two random games.
Yeah. Dude, we did the panel thing, right? There was Steph, that girl was maybe like 10, 12 years old.
Yeah.
And she was into the hobby, and she's like, "What's your YouTube channel?" And she followed us. She was follower number 300, by the way.
Nice.
She followed us right there. Her and her girlfriend were collecting. We were opening packs at Big League, and I pulled out an autograph. There was just a pack sitting between Mike and I, and we all opened 3 packs, and so I'll open the fourth. Boom, and hit an autograph at a Big League, which is, like one every 2.5 boxes almost.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, I can't. There's not words to put it in. There's not a favorite thing that we said or did. For me personally, just kind of being able to experience that and be there. Atlantic City is next year, and all the tables have sold out. I doubt I'll be there, but dude, I'm kidnapping you next time.
You guys really both have to come.
And the Plow the Bieber 2021 tour is in full
hobby house.
And no, I'm serious. We need to sell kidneys, blood, whatever. We're gonna get there together. It was that kind of thing. So, a couple things that Steph, what are a couple things you picked up that you're excited to find?
So I knocked out my 4 goals, as it were. I screen sharing. Finished my 66 team set. I finished my 67 team set. And I finished my 75 mini team set. So I'm done with the Topps Twins base master set from 61 to this year, as well as 75 minis. So then I'm talking to a friend of ours who sets up here. And he goes, "So I have this card. It won't grade well. It's a nice one. If you give me half off of it, it's yours." I tell him, "Wow, I don't care how it grades." He goes, "Well, it's not in the greatest condition." I'm like, "You're kind of describing the card that I want. I have a graded decent one." So for less than 3 digits, I got a slightly creased here and there, a couple dings here and there, but one for my binder.
No, it's beautiful.
And for what it is, for what a great hobby legend he is, as nice a person as he was, I'll pay less than 100 for that.
Yeah.
No, all day long. I mean, it's pretty sharp looking. It's got really nice color on it. The yellow pops. The red is solid. So, I mean, what do you expect for a 55 kilo brew? I mean, that's a solid pickup.
And then, as they were discussing in chat, one of the guys who was handing out and selling these PSA and slab and top loader cases is offering 6'4" soldiers hey, since you're doing an auction, why don't you sell a couple of these?
Yeah, those are really popular.
Out for since chat was talking about those.
So some things I picked up. One, I got to buy a couple things. So I busted my first box of hockey ever, Series 2.
I got 2 of those signed, by the way.
What's up?
I got 2 of those signed, by the way. Nick hooked me up with 2 of the wild cards signed.
Oh, nice.
His photos.
So I opened up a Series 2 box with Steph, and I pulled a Carter Hart Young Guns, a Philadelphia Flyer. I was told it was a good one. I got 4 packs, redemption packs with my purchase, and pulled an autograph hand numbered out of 50. Pulled some Elias Pettersson cards, which were cool. I busted a box with Dub. We did Gypsy Queen, and we're going through, and he kind of got skunked out. His box wasn't great, but I pulled a black and white Whip Merrifield auto out of 50, 15 out of 50, which happens to be his jersey number.
Of course.
Oh, that was
eBay 101 times 2 because it's the 15 out of 50, but it's also you did it with Dubs. So
yeah.
how you can fit all of that into the title?
I'm just going to keep it.
Might as well.
I bought 13 complete Topps football sets, which weigh a lot. Get in the back here. I bought a Bradshaw rookie. So I had 3 cards I was really looking for going out there. One was a Bradshaw rookie card. One was a Joe Panic Topps Living. And then a couple of graded George Bretts. I didn't find those. But I found the Bradshaw and the Joe Panic pretty quickly. I picked up 275 Brett rookies for a good deal. I picked up a 68 Maze and my first ever standalone Mickey Mantle card, a 68 Mickey Mantle. Bought those 2 cards together. Tons of wax. A bunch of wax packs. Singles Club. Went to the Singles Club place, and every card was $1, and then they had packs for $1, and one day they were 2 for $1. Picked up a lot of 91 upper deck or 91 tops. There was a lot of stuff I brought home. I mean, it took me a good half day to go through it. And then my favorite thing was, so I got a Gary Vee set. But I bought a second one, and I got an autograph it free. Talked to him. Pretty nice guy.
I forgot one.
Yeah.
One, you forgot to mention your cuddle buddy, but 2, so me and Tim hit the show the very first day, right as early as possible. And I walk down an aisle and I see a trash can, like one of the ones you find like in a regular office. We're talking like the 1.5 foot tall, whatever black boxes, right? So I walk down this aisle and it just happened to catch my eye. I look down and it says "Free Take Me." And so I saw there were a couple of hand collated sets, and I see there's a box on top, and it's a lot of junk. I'll take some pictures of some of the other stuff. But I take the top box and I filter through it later, and there's like a 65 Willie Stargell, a 70 Willie McCovey, 73 Thurman Munson, 73 Willie Mays, 2 Pete Roses from the late 70s, early 80s. Amazing find for a box, right? And then shortly thereafter, Rich pulls me aside and says, "Hey, I need you to come talk to a guy. I've been trying to get you to talk to him for a while now. He has a ton of Venezuelans, decently priced. I've told him to give you the best discount."
These were Topps cards made in the 60s, only sold in Venezuela.
Well, and I think they skip number them, so like 62 or 64, 67, etc.
Yeah.
And it's not the full base set, but it's a good chunk of them. But if you look on these 2, one still has the wrapper attached, and the other looks like it got yanked out of the photo album and still has the paper from the photo album attached to it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Also, too, I got this from Korean Cardboard.
What, 1980?
1980 Super, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think there's 2 of those, gray back and white back.
This is a
gray back.
God, there was so I end up going to take a break because I've been huffing and puffing all over the stage, and so I go up to the main stage, and Rob and Ivan are doing their thing all day, and those guys worked hard because they were up there the entire show talking and everything. So I go up there to sit down and take a break. I sit in the front row, and all of a sudden Gary Vee comes up and he's doing an interview like an hour. So I'm like, I'm in a perfect spot. So I sent it out on my Periscope, and I actually got to ask him a question if he was going to buy Topps. And he said he'd be down to buy any of the old card companies, and that's what he would love to do. But it was very interesting. He's a very polarizing figure. We've talked about him for Ben, like stuff like a year or so. Mm. We brought him up early on. Yeah, some very interesting thoughts on where it is. I mean, I've been following his stuff, and he's in it. Darren Ravel was there, and he tweeted out the FBI was there. FBI officials with the Sports Collectors Convention in Chicago this weekend issuing subpoenas related to card doctoring scandal. Subpoenas mentioned PWCC and its founder Britt Huggins and any information related to his or the company's submissions to the graders. So he was actually there. I can't believe that Huggins was actually there and on the floor hanging out. There was another tweet, despite the allegations of being connected to a card trimming, marketing, rigging, and FBI investigation, PWCC sends out an email to customers today that the card market is perhaps, quote, perhaps the most energetic and swiftly appreciated market in history, unquote. Bold words considering the circumstances. So they're still just out there doing business, and hey, nothing's wrong.
I don't know
We're screwing people
doing much of any business.
But real quick on that point, they've obviously got lawyers involved, and the FBI is involved to some degree. We don't know how much, but they might be, their legal counsel might say, just go about your business as is right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that might be in their best interest, because if they were to do anything to alter that, and again, as we mentioned earlier and in previous shows, we don't know how deep this is and ultimately where everything falls. So if moving forward, it ends up just kind of being a slap on the wrist for them, and why wouldn't you continue business until there's no more business to continue? I imagine that's what their legal counsel is telling them.
The one takeaway I have from this whole thing and going there, 80s wax, junk wax tops for baseball, Fleer for basketball. Buy it when you see it and put it away. Some of the early, like the mid 80s Fleer, like and up in Donruss stuff, the stuff we still like, I would say up through about 87, put it away. I'll buy it, don't open it, set it aside. 87 Topps boxes were going for $20 to $30. 84 Topps was going for almost $500 for a sealed box. This stuff is talking to dealers is disappearing faster, and they're not able to find it, and people want more and more and more of it.
As Bix would say, keep waxed.
Yes. So I found that to be the most interesting takeaway from this entire thing. Was overproduced, just junk wax, 87 Topps was one of the most popular things at the show.
That could be attributed to the fact that people our age that were growing up there are going back and getting back into the hobby and trying to. It'd be fun to open up a box of 87 Topps. We've done it at a local show. My dad bought me a box for Christmas that we opened up with my son Bentley. That's kind of what it is. Man, I've never opened up a box of 84 Topps back in the day. I would love to do it now. And even though the cards themselves, that overall set may not be valued, it could have something to do with it. Who knows? And whether the bubble ultimately bursts and you're out whatever money you invest in that. Hey, if you can pick some of that stuff up for relatively cheap and it doesn't hurt your budget, why not? If you have the space, I wouldn't necessarily go out of my way to do it with the idea that it'll appreciate all that much.
But if you see it, it's a good deal. What I'm saying is it's and you have the funds to be able to do that.
Yeah, Steph, can you pull up a picture of Mark Hoyle's tweet the other day that he sent out about what he found at the antique store? He had tagged a couple of people, myself included. He was at an antique store and found a ton of 87 Topps unopened boxes. I don't know if they were sealed, but you could buy them by the box, or they had a bin of individual packs for $1 a piece. So who knows if some of that stuff had been gone through, but hey, if you were there, it'd be kind of cool to pick up a box, or pick up a pack. I mean, I'm sure if that was here locally, Tim and I probably would both grab a box and go sit somewhere and probably periscope it out.
One for you, one for your dad, and one for Tim.
Yeah. I mean, three for $50 isn't, or is it 3 for 50?
Three for 30.
3 for 30. I mean, that's a great deal. And like Tim said, why not grab a box to open today and grab a box to stick on the shelf? There's a lot of good stuff in that 87 Topps.
Yeah.
Some of us are still working on the set.
You see, and bottom line is if you're out $10 or $15, big deal. That's not grocery money. That's not mortgage money.
Yeah.
You start to get a couple of $100, maybe it is.
Yeah, no, I completed my 87 Tops run. I needed to sell an open cello box. Found it. So
Nice.
really all I need is a Topps Tiffany set from 87 to have every factory set, every box, every pack, that was released in 87 for Topps. That's the only thing I need left. So
Nice.
guys, as we wind down and end the show tonight, we're about an hour and 40, which isn't bad for us. We had a heavy show. We got through it. I appreciate everybody hanging out with us, enjoying the new stream, and everyone that we ran into this last week. It was awesome. If I missed you, I didn't say your name, I apologize. My mind's still mush. I was talking to Brian Flynn today. We were DMing, and he goes, coming back feels like coming back to real life, feels like coming back from outer space. Yeah, it does a little bit. So, guys, any final thoughts as we wrap up the show 59 tonight?
Got nothing. We covered everything, I think.
Yeah.
No, I'm surprised we got through all of that as quick as we did.
Yeah.
No, it's good to have the show back. It's good to have a lot of new listeners. And, if there's anything out there in the hobby world that we've missed, definitely let us know. Keep the questions coming. And understand that a lot of times when we get a little spicy on the Twitter, a lot of it's just to create content.
Yep. Remember, we're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on YouTube.
10 Central. Sorry.
I never told the story. We've got to go back. I never told the story why. I told the story why I was a lot of the Tops, right? Yeah. Sorry. We're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on YouTube, 10 Central. Make sure to subscribe and review our show on all platforms. You can always follow us on Twitter at About the Cards. You can always follow Ben at Our Trading Cards. You can always follow Steph at JunkWax Twins. You follow me at Big Ship 79. And like Ben said earlier, please share your hobby stories, great pulls, and send any questions our way. Keep collecting. We'll see you guys next
Wednesday.
day.
See you guys then.
Yeah.